Ladies and gentlemen, young and old, welcome. I'm Hambbage, and I'm here asking the hard questions as we play hardcore vanilla Minecraft. Most importantly, seeing the 90% bug free, are spiders bugs? Let me know in chat. What's your take? Personally, I don't apply insect to bug so much, so I would definitely group spiders in with bugs. But these are the hard questions we've got to ask. Otherwise, we'll never know. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hope you're enjoying our deep analysis of real world topics. Um, in today's episode, we are turning tail and running. We in the last episode ran around in the nether wastes up actually behind us there and loaded up a bit on quartz and gold and some treasures out of a fortress we discovered. It was all generally pretty nice. I don't know. Ooh, let's get these. I don't know if we're gonna quite have enough, but it seemed a logical breaking point to get us back. Oh man, I saw that glow and kind of guessed that there was something there. I wish that hadn't bothered to flow all the way around the block I'm standing on. Thanks, game. Alright, oh, we got some more. Alright, on we go. So yeah, we may snag a couple pieces here if we find them that obviously. And otherwise, we are going to go back and do a process and a... Come on, really? The first one I knew was a little bit low, but we continue to move up there. Alright. Eye out for quartz and... piglins. There we go. So yeah, maybe while we're not... It's the old Winston Churchill quote. This isn't the beginning. This isn't the end, or even the beginning of the end. More, this is the end of the beginning. You know that. All right, listen. Can we just do this? Oh, how about here? Okay. That's all we needed, really. Just make all that go away. There we go. Another win. Hey, let's get this cleaned up too. I don't know how we overlooked it, but apparently it was a thing. It's a couple episodes ago, and a couple days as well. Our bright skies have returned. It's still a little chilly today, but it is supposed to be back to another, for the season, incredible weekend. I just, this whole autumn has been so over the top for me. I hope you guys are enjoying your season as well. But yeah, we are supposedly looking at like upper 60s for the end of this week, and it's kind of a little cooler again than it had been in previous nice weeks, weekends, and all that. But when you consider it now, we've gotten to the point of the season when we're getting some days that have highs in the mid to low 40s. That's a pretty darn nice day. And one of the things I just love about Colorado, and I know it drives some people nuts, is you can go from cold and snow one day to even in the middle of the winter, you can get these random, just kind of freak warm warm patches that come through that make it just incredibly nice out. And we've just been lucky to have so many of them stacked together right now. So I'm really looking forward to getting out and about. Um, I way back, kind of after Thanksgiving of last year, into November, and it was, I can't remember if it was the day after Thanksgiving or one of those weekend days, but it was really nice out. And in the middle of COVID and everything, nobody was doing much in terms of getting together with people for Thanksgiving at that point. And still at that time, nobody was really getting a chance to see their friends or hang out or have those social interactions. So I reached out to a couple friends and we ended up playing disc golf because it was just a unseasonably warm day for November. And then it just worked out that I think right after Christmas was another beautiful day. No snow on the ground or recent snow or anything like that. So it was nice and nice and dry, I guess. I don't know. Accessible. So we ended up playing in December as well, and that was kind of a warm snap. It was very mild early last winter, and then it got more wintry as the months went by. But at least at the start, it was very mild, and so that kind of warm snap continued. And I think around the Christmas time, or based on the fact that we ended up going again the following week, which was right after New Year's, right? Again, no New Year's Eve, any parties or anything like that. So the social interactions were pretty limited, but we're like, hey, this is very cool. We can socially distance and hang out outside and, get a little exercise, enjoy these random nice days in the middle of winter. It was perfect. So we really tried to make the most of that. Well, there we go. All of a sudden, I've played disc golf in 3 of the winteriest months of Colorado, getting that January. And I was like, you know what? I think we could do this. And I think I was solo in February. That was it was a warm day, but a lot of times here when we get warm days, they're very windy. There's a wind called the Chinook, which is a downsloping mountain wind. So it's coming down and it's basically carrying warm air. I want to fix that torch. Warm air that's created out of the mountain terrain and then supplying it out on, as it dissipates out onto the plain, it's very mild compared to what else might be going on. And in the spring, that's kind of the snow melter. And for some of the places out further east, it's stop. Oh, are we going to have to deal with this the whole time? Good grief. Okay, we can set this up. Put these in. Take these out. Okay, he's going away. Didn't see me. You go first. 'Cause I think we've probably got stuff in here. Oh, man. Yikes. Okay. Guess we'll just top whatever of these off that we can. Okay, well, that one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. And our pick got fixed a little bit. Okay. If I kill you, will no more slime please come for at least 30 seconds? That would be great. At least so I can get back upstairs. But since we're all the way over here, we'll drop off these first. Blocks and creams. All right. Now we go upstairs, drop off the gold and the diamond, and probably the cooked pork. Won't bother eating until we've... let's do one of these. Boom. Okay. And a diamond. And the cooked pork. And again, maybe we'll swap that out at some point. Anything else we want to drop off up here out of this stuff? I don't think so. What we'll probably do is take one of the blue chests and just make it an upstairs stuff container. If there is, I assume we've got more, random food or who knows what that we'll want to toss in. But all right, let's go put these away, grab these out. We don't have as much. That's why it was kind of frustrating that we had so much slime interference. But that seems to have done. Oh, I didn't put the stupid saddles away. Okay, let's get the animal box out. Not that we need more sandals is what I was about to say. We need more saddles in there. But we'll put a few. Again, for now, it's probably as good a place as any. And then... let's maybe try to do as much random stuff. That actually goes over by everything else. So does that. But we've already got most everything. All right, let's just sort these down. Flints for Franny, gunpowders for supplies, glowstone, slimes. I kind of feel like every time we put those in, we're just attracting more, but whatever. I don't know if these were leftovers from the last round or what. Get off the torch, dude. Alright, a little bit of nether wart, a whole lot of random stuff. Man, we're probably gonna go to another section there. Didn't feel very fast. Couple more bricks. These go around the corner, right? Here. Those and those will go over in the potion-y section. Where's a place we're not gonna go? How about right here? You and you. And now... oh. Maybe that slime will go away if we take these potion materials over. So that's good. That's 2 more dragon spawns we can work our way through. That guy just like psychically jumping over to where we're gonna be. Not cool, man. Not at all cool. these. Almost done. Then we can get to the quartz and deal with those. Yes, we know you want to come be where I am. It's like the dog, anybody who's had dogs knows. They're just trying to hang out with you. they don't mean to be in the way, but like if you're working in the kitchen or something and they're just like right underfoot, right? Yeah, you don't want to step on them and hurt them inadvertently or anything, so you get mad. You're like, get out. Don't be here. But sometimes that's too much to ask. I think anybody who's listened to a few of my episodes here certainly aware I'm a big fan of books and reading and literature and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I like to do is listen to some of the audiobooks that are out there on YouTube, especially like falling asleep or whatever. And the other day, I think we're all good here, right? The other day, I did Jack London's Call of the Wild, which was one of my childhood favorites. I absolutely loved that idea, and it was at a time. I don't know why that particular one stood out, and I don't know if these two were related, but when I was a kid, there were two things that I think kind of fed off each other. One was, and I want to say it was Steiger. I don't know if that's right, and it could be just totally making something up in my head. But Steiger or Steger sounds like what just popped into my head as a North Pole expedition team. And I can't remember all the, I was a kid. This was back probably in the late 80s, maybe. But I want to say that this guy did a pole expedition that was unpowered. It was dog sleds and all that kind of stuff, I believe. And it kind of caught the imagination. I think, my parents had National Geographic magazine back in those days. And so it had a lot of features, and it was kind of right at my my interest level, about that same kind of boyhood age when dinosaurs and all that little bit of science stuff, you're just fascinated by everything around. And so there'd been this deal, and I don't know if the same guy or somebody different then went on and won the Iditarod sled dog race. But either way, those two coincided about the same time and made sled dogs and, Alaska and winter and all that kind of stuff all come together pretty tightly in at least the imagination of adolescent kids all over the world, or at least where I was growing up. So into that environment, those stories of Call of the Wild and White Fang, the two most popular, but in school I know we read To Start a Fire, I think it's called, as one of the, those like reader books that you had when you were in grade school that are kind of like, a third grade reader or whatever, and they increasingly, step you up through reading levels to where you're reading full books and all that kind of stuff. Well, Start a Fire was in one of those, probably a little later. It's a little dark at the end, but it was certainly topical. Things that we all read and knew about. And I had a paperback of a collection. It had Batard, Call of the Wild, and White Fang, and I think one other story in it, and I don't remember. I think I actually still have it somewhere amongst my books. Might go check on that at some point. Not during this episode, though. Anyway, it was those were just, really captivating, and kind of books that as a kid you can read on one level, and then as you get older, obviously there's some deeper insights into humanity and all that. But um, talking about dogs and being underfoot, having just listened to that, I'd kind of forgotten I never really forgot. In Call of the Wild, towards the end, and I was, as a kid, I was always fascinated that, here you have Call of the Wild, which is the main character, in quotes, dog, Buck, is moving from civilization towards wildness, right? And kind of reclaiming a native or purpose outside and beyond society. And he he progressively moves through that. But kind of in the later part of the book, there's this section on a dog and feeling this animalistic and overwhelming love for a human that actually rescued him. And the part that never really left my mind from that book ever since I was a little kid, because I grew up with dogs and all that, was this idea of this grizzled old explorer type in the Alaskan bush, kind of becoming the softie for this dog, and they have this kind of interaction all their own that's nobody else could. You couldn't have trained the dog to do it, and the man himself is kind of silly in how they're both kind of aloof and not clingy or desperate for this affection, but still it's very genuine and real and something organic and of their own. And it's the love of a man and a dog, right? That story is probably as old as cavemen when dogs were first being domesticated, and the idea of man's best friend, and the bond that very clearly happens between a dog and one particular person. It may be a family's dog, but the dog will always have one person at bottom line. It's associated to, and in a family that can certainly vary. It may be a parent, or it may be one of the kids, but oftentimes a dog will be incredibly protective of a child that's grown up when it's been in the family, right? The baby comes and the parents are always obviously a little concerned, and you carefully introduce the child to the dog. But by and large, dogs are incredibly tolerant of infants when they come into their lives, right? They learn this is a part of the family, of the pack, and they will be loyal and protective of those children, but they'll also be incredibly tolerant, right? You can watch a little baby just come and haul off on a dog's tail and all that, and the dog's just like, I got this, don't worry about it, And if a person did that, if an adult did that too, you get the growl in the teeth and all that, like, leave me alone, I don't want to deal with that. So I think on a level, they certainly understand the difference between children exploring and learning. And, you watch dogs play with themselves. There are a lot, I didn't mean that, but play with one another, members of their species. They play in a way that speaks to their nature and their wildness, right? And so they're fully competent to let a little kid tug on their coats and that kind of stuff, and try to ride them or whatever, right? They grew up as puppy. If you ever watch puppies play, they're like bowling each other over and yipping, and you'll watch, puppies just kind of like drag themselves along as they've like got their sharp little puppy teeth planted in their mom's coat, and they're just hanging along. Likewise, mother dogs will maneuver their young around by grabbing them by the scruff of the neck and carrying them. So it's a back and forth, but they're pretty resilient. But it's that difference of tolerance versus just being able to take it, and understanding those circumstances. That's pretty cool. But I was struck by that, how powerful that little relationship is. And then, of course, in the story, Buck goes on to ultimately answer the call of the wild, and basically reverts to a wild animal. On the flip side, and this is what really got me as a kid, having I think that was about as early. I'd probably read some other books at that point that were kind of on the adult fiction as opposed to just specifically young adult stuff. But those two kind of taught me, this is a juxtaposition that goes beyond just a single book, and that is that in White Fang you have the opposite transition happening. That's a something that's starting out fully wild and evolving to a more civilized being, and what does that look like? So cool back and forth and fun memories. It was fun to just see that pop as a random recommendation, and so I popped that in. It's pretty quick as an audiobook. It's only like 3 hours, so not too overwhelming. Not much longer than some movies these days. James Bond. Speaking of movies, I have finished my reread of Dune, the book, so I'm gonna, not today, but in the coming days, and I don't have too many because I'm not gonna go to a movie during the resurgence of COVID. But I am in the middle of like a weekend or in an evening, but I probably will go one of these weekday days when hopefully there's not big crowds. And speaking of which, man, I was. A lot of sports fans may have recently heard that, Aaron Rodgers just tested positive, and that's kind of the big news, superstar type player. Sidney Crosby, I heard also today, tested positive in the NHL. And of course, here in Colorado, we've kind of already been a little more conditioned to that, at least hockey fans have, because the Avalanche season started with a lot of players rotating through that COVID list. And it goes to say, I think, some of those feelings and opinions get flared back up because apparently Aaron Rodgers was not vaccinated and has a different set of rules according to the NFL. But that, however you look at that, it doesn't change the fact that COVID is flaring and getting a lot of people, whether they're vaccinated or not, because while the NFL is well publicized as having a lot of folks resist the vaccinations, in the NHL, I think it's like 98 or something. It's credible percentage of players, coaches, staffs, everybody is just jumped right on board with the vaccinations. And I don't know if that was being in their bubble or how their season was affected last year and being so dramatically different, but they basically just all, I'm assuming they have that flexibility, but may say a lot about the fact that I could be making this up, but of all the American professional sports, I've gotta say, I'm pretty darn confident that it has the highest percentage of non-Americans, and I think, the rest of the world is looking at America going, you guys are nuts. What is this whole, vax, no vax thing? Get it done. At least that's been my impression from having family in the UK and everywhere else. It's like, get it done. And, it shouldn't take a mandate or anything like that. It just takes not turning this into if you're on Team A, you want it, and if you're on Team B, you don't. No, and I'm talking politics here, not athletics. But the NHL, with a lot of foreign-based players, a lot of Canadian players, and Canada has been particularly hard hit, and particularly, I hate to say this, but conservative in their approach, and that's not conservative versus liberal in a political sense, but conservative in the will take the more cautious route when it comes to any of our policy decisions. They were not quick to reopen borders or venues or those kind of things. So, with that in mind, and with a lot of European-based players and everyone else, I think that contributes to just that general, hey, we're, just get it done and let's go play hockey kind of deal. So, and they're still being hit hard is the main message. It, doesn't guarantee you won't get it. Hopefully slows the spread quite a bit, though, and certainly should help prevent the complications and things that go on in the hospital. But, man, those numbers are scary, and I don't know. This is going to get me right as we... Nope. Oh, here he comes. We're kind of done with you, Slime. At least he only had 2 little... Boom. Boom. Okay. Now, can I make my blocks? Oh, it's so nice and quiet without the slime. Yeah, so... I kind of shy away from local news and got in that habit quite a bit between the election stuff and the pandemic stuff. It's just too toxic. I was like, I don't need this. Let's see, look at how few that turns into. Man, oh man. What do we got going on here? This is the animal box. We can take that upstairs. That we want to have. This can just go away. These are now all good. Dun-dun-dun. Give up. A little bit more tidy, and then we'll check the time, see if we have enough to build all these out in our episode. But yeah, from what I've heard, my main take, and I'm glad for parents of kids and all that they've opened up vaccinations for those parents who want to get them for their kids to do so. And I think there's enough people out there that will be a big help. Kind of a win for the schools and all that kind of stuff where, options have been limited. People don't want their kids to have to do the whole mask thing all the time. It's tougher for kids to understand why and just to comply with all that. And I know my own family has a niece right around that bubble age who had to wait through around with the rest of her family who was vaccinated, and they still felt very scared because if you're vaccinated and you can still carry it, get sick and maybe not even know it, and then carry it back in, well, that could impact a kid. And, we all know the chances are pretty bad that a kid who does get sick is going to suffer major complications from that. But that doesn't mean for the ones that end up, just getting unlucky and being impacted, that there's it's any less tragic, right? Like, I mean, I hear, and I hear people when they get in the internet space, it's all like, oh, well, it's only this fraction of little kids that have actually been, in ICUs or sicken from it or anything else. Yeah, but if you're one of the parents of those kids, your whole life is just devastated. And um, I want those parents or any parent to have every opportunity that they think is reasonable to be able to bring their kids. And certainly you don't want to just willy nilly say, oh, yeah, here, we're going to give shots to kids and not know what the impact is. But um, that was rain. Oh, is that maybe just bubbles out of the. I saw some splashes over there, but it looks like it's clear weather here still. Oh, we haven't even checked the time yet, have we? Up we go. Assuming we're going to have enough to do some of this. We're at 36 minutes. We should be able to place all of these. A little sip of tea here while I get set. Let's do. Oh, let's see how close and. Oh. Maybe we got some work to do here still. And we talked about maybe doing wood on the interior of all this. It doesn't feel very fast, but getting it done. Okay, so news of the day done. The one other thing again. Forgive my little bit preachiness, but man, if we all see these tragedies and stuff go down, and it's so easy to kind of think, oh well, I'd never be the person that would do that. Ruggs, I think the Los Angeles Raiders, or I'm sorry, Las Vegas Raiders player. I kind of hate to say it, but these people say, oh well, I feel bad. He's learning that hard life lesson. I don't feel too sorry or have a whole lot of sympathy, and I understand very well. At my age, you kind of do. You've gotten a chance to make your own mistakes along the way, and thank God I never, took a human life through actions, deliberate or inadvertent. That just I know for myself that would absolutely devastate me. I don't think I could ever shake that. And the people are, oh, he had it all. His NFL career is now done, and he's got worry about prison. In my mind, that all would kind of be a background, right? It's you'd be locked in your own head regardless. And to do something that stupid, I guess young people will always feel above. It's part of being young. You take risks. You go forward. We've talked about it before on here that you've got this little bit of sense of invulnerability that you're destined for greatness, and it's what makes people in that young age go out and explore and push boundaries and do great things. But it also leaves you subject to the feelings that, well, yeah, I'm never going to be the one that actually crashes if I'm driving 150 miles an hour on a secondary road. Come on. And, granted, it sounded like the BAC was through the roof, and that certainly, I forgot the acacia wood, it certainly affects your judgment, right? That's what alcohol does, but even being, and I've done, a lot of, um, man, all the way back to high school, I was doing dare talks with, as an athlete in my school for younger kids. I've done in our fraternity when I was in school age stuff. We used to have people come in because obviously fraternities, organizations that have a huge image issue with people not making horrible decisions with alcohol, and not, thank God, not at in my fraternity, but certainly within my college environment, there were a number of tragedies that happened even while I was in school and around those times. So I know they can happen unexpectedly, and the people that are behind them don't set out going, oh, I'm gonna commit a monstrous act, but um, that's that's what makes it tragic, but it also is what makes it so completely avoidable, is this knowledge that there's so many resources on hand to, especially now, to never make that an issue. These days there's Uber, there's less and less cabs and stuff like that, but Lyft and Uber and just ride sharing and virtual. Like, think about how much easier it is now to interact with people from home. And folks should begin to understand that you can. You can, I drink, and occasionally a little more than I should. Um, for instance, trivia night tonight, I may have a few beers, and well, the last time we did that, we uh, were responsible enough to get first place in the trivia, so we're not falling around and drooling on ourselves or anything like that, but it was one of those where I just know going in, I'm going to have a few beers. I'm going to Uber over there and Uber back. Just be responsible and do the right thing. And if you're, um, if you're at one of those environments and, a party or something like that, or a club, and you see one of your people are are getting ready to take off, and you're like, how are you getting home? Um, don't don't do the you're about to make a horrible mistake kind of situation, because, and this is all stuff I've kind of been coached to and all that, but um, the those kinds of reactions, hey, you're too drunk to drive or anything like that. It becomes confrontational, and you may think, we can sit here and talk about it right now, and people are all, oh yeah, well, I would never drink and drive and all that kind of stuff. But once that alcohol starts to take effect, you become a little um, confrontational. We'll just go upstairs and go to bed. I don't have the bed on me. I could have popped it out of the chests, but oh well. Um, yeah, it becomes a, oh, you think I'm too drunk to drive? You never want me to have any fun. You don't know how good I am at that kind of stuff, and let me prove that I can do it. And I've seen this all play out too many times. It's much better. Hey, you know what? We don't want you to go. Hang out here for a bit. We got some food, and then, if you know that person, you really don't have a space to accommodate them, and it's your place or whatever. Hey, I just went ahead and ordered an Uber because you got dinner for me that last time, and I really appreciate it. I wanted to do something solid for you. Give me a call tomorrow, and I'll come pick you up and get your car, right? Because those are the two things that always stop people is um, they drive somewhere, they end up having a bit too much, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to be out without my car tomorrow. I've got, they're thinking, and they're like, oh, I've got places I want to be tomorrow. I got to do this and that. And I'm not talking the NFL superstar here. I'm talking about, you know, you, me, or your neighbor, or anybody. Uh, oh, oh, huh, huh, huh. Let's do this. Never like this. Hey, there, there, and hopefully we don't need the golden apple. There. Um. Oh yeah, yeah. So you get in the moment and you understand that hey, somebody's had a bit too much. Let's just try to do the right thing here. And all of a sudden they're like, well, no, I want to have my car tomorrow. I gotta be at a thing and all that. Um, it's a lot easier for them to say no if you aren't like, oh, hey, you know what? Uber's outside. It's waiting, and I already set it up not because I think you're too drunk, but because I wanted to do you a favor, or I wanted to get you back for something nice that you did for me. Make it a um, kind of like are you really gonna reject this nice thing I'm trying to do for you kind of situation? And you'll find that people become a little more receptive to just accepting it. Okay, yeah, that's really nice of you. Thanks. I'd like to get that ride. Okay, I think I'm gonna go through a bunch of this. Oh, that wasn't exactly how I envisioned it, but this should work. So I think we're gonna do this. How do I do that? Out here. That, that, that. And then that, that. Um, and I think maybe slabs underneath there. We'll leave all that infrastructure-y stuff for now. Oh, we wanted blocks to go around those window things that we cut out down below. But obviously, first thing, we're going to have to see how many steps we have, and I think I want to set the whole roof like this first, and then whatever we end up doing for kind of a cupola type thing, I think is what I described it as. I still don't know if that's the correct term on top of a bar, but it would be a nice way to do it. Okay, well, there's that. A nice way to do it. Be a way to protect our materials. Mm-hmm. Boy, that's not going to do it, is it? But let's do this anyway. Get a little bit down at that far end. Just do one there, and then we'll come back on this side as much as we can, which isn't much. 11 blocks worth. Well, there it is. Okay, now we need to clear out all these. This is the bad part. How do I not have these in my inventory? There. Or on my toolbar. Toolbar? Whatever. Alright. As close as we're going to get, let's go down and pick up those pieces and take a look from the outside at what our front line is going to look like. And remember, we've got these windows that'll want blocks of quartz, so now I think stack may not quite do it, but we're getting there. It's amazing. I can pick up eggs if I'm within like 5 blocks of those, but I can't pick up the deal. So I think that's pretty darn good, especially as we get out a little bit more. It still has a little bit of that like schoolhouse church kind of feel if you're right up on it. I think it's just the distance and how it gets rendered a little bit, but it seems steep. But then as soon as you come out and get the perspective of the long barn, that starts to really look tight. Let's get one of these with the sunset. All right, good there. Let's go back inside because we don't have a bed anyway. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what our time is. How much did that take? 55. Let's run back and put these couple pieces in their respective chests in the barn and call it good there. And I guess I don't think we need to go on a massive extend the bridge kind of exploration now. We just need a few stacks of quartz, which is pretty doable. So I think within our explored areas, we can feel confident that we can get that. Maybe we'll try to go rediscover where where our ancient bastion is, ruined bastion, ancient debris that we seem to have kind of lost track of. It might be a good thing. It's just okay. Those are iron bars. I was making sure we hadn't accidentally misplaced any other goodies. Oh, we do want this. Didn't forget anything in it. All right, and we'll go back on over to our house basement. Our basement, considering our base is kind of a underground refuge anyway. Now, we've been working on this building project for quite a while, and I don't think I'm immediately going to turn it over to building up a house type thing, but it's on the to-do list. We want to get all that done as well. Certainly next up is going to be our animals. I didn't realize that was sitting right there that whole time we were running back and forth. But here's that. We'll want those. We'll want a blue. I guess we'll want a pink. And I think that sets us up pretty well for the next time. We'll just aim it right here. Save and quit. And I'll thank you one more time. Thanks for the listening to the ramblings. We covered Call of the Wild and all that good stuff. We covered a little bit of the COVID that's hitting the major sports and all that. Be careful out there. If nothing else, just be cognizant of it. Wear a mask. Think about it when you're going to go into those crowded type places and environments. Let's hope that we can all as a group get back after it enough so that we don't end up losing access to live sporting events and movies and those kind of things that we've all enjoyed, concerts and what other kinds of group environments you've had. If you're in school, that you don't get forced out of classes or any of that kind of stuff again. We don't want to end up where we were last winter. So take care of yourselves, and please, if it's you or if you see anybody else in a situation where they could use their own, do the best thing possible and just order an Uber and be like, hey, wherever you want to go, but put it to your home address. If you need to change it, talk to the driver, but they'll get you home safe, and we'll figure out your car tomorrow. Could save a life, and that's reason enough anytime. So take care of yourselves. Stay awesome out there. Have a wonderful afternoon and evening, and we'll be back before you know it. Stay awesome, guys. Bye now.